Hello everybody, it's Big Al with more content for Lord of the Rings Rise to War. Today I'm going to talk about the Witch King. Now I need you guys to bear with me because my Witch King isn't R4, respect level 4. So I can't fully show you his skills. I can read the skills and tell you what they are and how I would set it up, but I can't physically put the skill points in those because I'm just like a lot of you. Yes, I have 16 or 17 seasons, but not all my commanders are respect level 4 because I'm free to play, well, low spender. So let's get started. Okay, let's see here. Let's get to the Witch King. As you can see, the Witch King's one of the Nazgul. If you look here, he's got pretty good command to start with. Base command, 177. Now, let me show you, like, Gil's got a high command to start, but like Isildur, he's one of the tanks, and he only has 135. Okay? So, just showing you a couple different commanders and what they start with in command. So let's talk about the skills. First, I'm going to start with his R4, the Lord of Minas Morgul. Okay? This is a very important skill. There's many ways to set up Witch King, but pretty much all of them, people are going to use this debuff skill. It's a lot like with Sauron has the debuff skill as well. So, attack, focus, and defense of 2 enemy commanders, minus 20 for 5 rounds when it's maxed out, and the effect is modified by command. Okay? Then he has a couple others. When the commander's formation is comprised of large units, gains Badness immunity, and then stun immunity at level 10. But this up here is the important part, because technically you want your damage dealing, physical damage dealers, well, even your focus damage dealers, the magic number is 200. You want to get to at least 200 commander attack when possible, because that's when they can really start to do a lot of damage. So think about this debuff skill. Say I have my Dane and he's got 200 commander attack. Okay, well, right here, minus 20 for 5 rounds. So that drops him down to 180, but it's also affected by command stat. So even say, let's just do an easy number and say 5. The modification gives an additional 5. So he's minus 25. So that puts my Dane down to 175 commander attack. Well, his defense is also down too, which isn't so important. But that commander attack is huge, because that means he's going to do a lot less damage to you. Now, same thing, let's go and talk about Gandalf the White or Gandalf the Gray, either one. He's minusing 25 focus. So that means White Council isn't going to mitigate as much damage. So again, if you hit the right commanders with this skill, you could do their main damage dealer and you could do their White Council dealer. So this is a very huge skill. I'm going to go to Nazgul's skill, his R2, which a lot of the evil side commanders have. And this is another good skill. For the first 2 rounds, it deals up to 400% focus damage to 2 enemy formations. So enemy formation means commander and unit. And it happens upon taking action each round. And then level 5 deals 200% poison damage once to the target after this effect ends. And then at level 10, for the first 2 rounds, has a 30% chance to inflict stun on the target. So, I'm going to start with the stun part of it. It's doing 2 enemy formations. So that's 2 commanders and 2 units. So that's 4 possible targets. Well, for the first 2 rounds, it has a 30% chance. So you're almost guaranteed to get 1 stun, and it's possible you get a second. Now, the Nazgul also wears down White Council, and 400%, that's not a bad little bit. Now I'm going to go to Lord of the Nazgul. This is another damage dealing skill, and it is up to 320% focus to 1 formation. So what do we need? We're going to need focus for his damage skills. At level 5, he 50% chance to inflict stun on the target after the target receives damage, and it lasts for 1 round. So again, he's doing this damage to a commander and a unit, so he's almost guaranteed to get at least 1. And sometimes he might get lucky and get 2, and very rarely he might not get any. Depends on the RNG, which is the random number generator, and that's the percentage of which skills work or not. And in addition, targets defense -10. Well, -10 there, plus the defense from this, so you could get minus, say, 35. Black Captain, and this is his troop buffing skill. For the first 2 rounds, Orcs, Urukai, Evil Men, and Troll units in 3 allied formations have a 75% chance to gain dual blows each round. Well, at level 5, damage stat of units in 3 formation units is plus 5% for 10 rounds. So that's the duration of the fight. And then at level 10, his dual blows affects all 4 formations. So there's a couple different ways to build him. You could focus on his focus damage skills. Remember, I brought up he starts with high command. You could the debuff and a troop buffing commander. There's a lot of ways to build them, so I'm going to show you a couple with some of my gear just so that you can see the different ways. First, I'm going to talk about the focus dealing. Okay. This is such an important skill. You're going to want to put a couple points into that, no matter what. But these are his focus damage skills. So, if we're setting up for focus damage, we're going to want an item that has commander damage and commander focus. So the Blazing Tongue works perfect, okay? And as for purple, you're looking at the Carver. Commander damage, commander focus. And then, again, you could set up what I think, the Call of the Forest, because it gives command, it gives commander focus, it also helps your unit defense. I really, really like the Call for many commanders. Now, if you're looking just for straight focus, you could put on the Bone Mask for purple. Gives you straight focus. Okay, I'm gonna put the Call on there just to show. Now here is the other one. The Great Plate of the East and then the Numenorian armor are the 2 best gold armors because they give the most focus. You could also do something like the Golden Skin. A Scout's Mail would work as well. Hunter's Skin. Those are some possibilities. To me, I would go with the most focus because I want the most damage. Next, in a perfect world, you will have the Fine Smoking Pipe. For focus damage dealing commanders, there is no other you can't get commander damage from purple items. Okay, the Fine Smoking Pipe is the hands down best item for him. There is also the Signet Ring as well that gives commander damage focus, but that also gives initiative. Now, when you get higher in respect, higher gear, that initiative comes into play a little bit. Okay, purple option is the harp because it gives you the most commander focus for purple. You could do something like the wizard's firework as well, because that gives a little bit of focus and command. Okay, so those are those options for building them for the focus dealing. Now, the other way to build him would be the tank route. You want to use him as a tank and a troop buff. So you're going to completely max this skill out. You're going to max out Black Captain as long as you're using those kinds of troops. Okay. And then the next most important skill would be 5 points into Lord of Nazgul, so you have that stun chance. So to build him as a tank, okay, you're using him the same way as you would like Frodo. The only difference is I would put like the Nordor sword on him because that's giving me command, because my R4 is going to modify off that. It's also going to help me with unit defense here. And then the command, again, is going to help get more damage mitigation. Then next, it's the same thing. I would use the Call of the Forest. Is a very good helmet for focus and command. And it also gives me the unit defense. Now for the armor, here's where it could vary a little bit. Some people would still use the hunter skin because it gives focus and it gives unit defense. Okay. Or you could go with the Superior Hawk if it's for the purple, because that gives you the most unit defense. On armor, again, you're only going to get hit points. Could use something like the Elf Harburg, something like that, where it's giving you a lot of unit defense. Because in this example, we're using him as a tank. Okay, and then next. Focus is nice and everything, but again, you're using him as a tank. That is his primary job. So I like things like the fiddle, the golden fiddle, because it gives command, it gives unit defense. Those are pretty much the ideal things. Or you can use the drums of Moria, because that gives you your unit defense and it gives you command. Again, remember, we're loading up on command. So at 427 command, which isn't that high in the grand scheme of things. I don't have my Nordor sword refined, or the call's only refined twice, but he's getting, I'm going to round, 30% damage reduction automatically just from his command level. But then also let's count. Let's see, you get 9 unit defense there. You get 8 there, that's 17. You get 32, so that's 49. Plus here another 18, that's an extra, 67 unit defense. Now, you're going to be using tanky units because you're using them as a tank. So, like, say, the Guardians or things like that, you're going to have, even Berserkers would work, but they're more for speed than they are tankiness, but they'll do in a pinch. Your troops' defense is going to be over 100 with that much unit defense packed into your gear. So you will see Witch King paired up a lot with Sauron for the reason of the debuff skill. Okay, and right here, the only difference is with Sauron, it's with 3 enemy commanders from the start, and with Witch King it was 2. I'm going to go back and show you, just see, 2 enemy commanders. So between the two, they could get somebody, say, minus 60 commander attack, commander focus, commander defense. And that makes a once very big damage dealer down to doing very little damage. And one good thing about, as a counter for all these debuffs, is commanders that use command. Because, again, both of these debuff skills affect attack, focus, and defense. So command is good. So that's my video on Witch King. Sorry I stumbled a little bit. but I got what I wanted out. So, as always, make the most out of what you got.